So we going live on YouTube right now. Every time I come in the press room, you in the press room. Working on our Stars Hot Tronic heat press. Using all the vinyl. Making all the picture tees. I like vinyl.
I'm about to just load these boxes up. I'm out your way.
Man, you gotta be a crazy little brother to get fired on your day off. What you get caught stealing boxes for?
Man, I didn't get caught stealing no boxes. He said he caught me though.
You get our rent paid.
Why don't you go in there and ask the girls we're up there to see if they help us pay our rent?
That don't sound like a bad plan at all.
What's up, Pops?
What's up, Smokey?
I'm trying to set up a meeting with the girls, man.
Okay.
Y'all wanna help me and Craig pay our rent?
Craig still owe me money from the last time he got me. He gotta learn a lesson. He shouldn't be stealing. Don't ask him to tell that girl from last night to give him some money.
What they say? They said it's slow for real.
I'm about to just ask Boss when we get our job that night.
Of course you can.
Yeah!
T-shirtkings247.com. I'm off the chain. I'm on the corner of Main and Nottingham. And today, yes, I just put up this ginormous ass sign. Man, we towering over here, man. We doing anything we want. T-shirts, same day service, photo t-shirts, screen printing, vinyl lettering, shirts for your business, organization, group, family, reunion, whatever you need. T-shirtkings247.com. We are on the corner of Main and Nottingham, 4301 North Main. And even if you can't see my address, you can still see this big ass sign. Yeah. 937-603-4494. Look, I just made all these shirts for Michael Wright. TL Show.
My nephew right here, your daddy too.
Yes,
Like his daddy.
Yo, what we got, bro?
Hey man, what's up?
Yo, what you got, bro?
Man, we got, listen man, we got these shirts, man. Look at the greenness.
Hold on, pull one out, bro. Pull one out.
Quality shirts.
Yeah.
Not just
Let me see the
shirts.
back.
Quality shirt. What's happening? What's up, guys? Yeah, we doing it right here at the T-shirt.
Yeah,
Y'all
man.
didn't know, come and get some of this T-shirt. It's my brother.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Y'all actually won an award, the Boss Mag 2009 Ohio Hip Hop Award. Y'all won for that media outlet thing.
Man, I don't even know. Yeah.
Like y'all won. He didn't even know he won.
What'd you say? Who was it?
You won the Boss Magazine 2009 Ohio Hip Hop Award. Congratulations.
That's legendary. That's legendary. That's legendary. That's legendary. That's legendary.
Bang, bang. You rolling.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Peanut, aka Dash Research. I got my man Stack and Smell with me.
What's going on? What's up? That's your boy Stack and Smith broadcasting live from the metaverse. You see what's going on over here. I might click in and out for you, feel me? But yeah, man, this is the Legendary People Podcast, and we tell legendary stories and life stories every day, man. Every day. You might see us at 1 o'clock, 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. But we bring on people in order for them to tell stories, to inspire you, and to give you a vibe to know that you can overcome anything. And today is not going to be anything short of that. But before we get to our story, we want to remind everybody to go to our YouTube page. Our YouTube page is like we this close from being monetized.
Yes.
You got to check off a couple of things, but we have got enough subscribers, so we thank everybody and we want everybody to continue to subscribe. So right now we just got to get a few more hours of actual watch time on our page, and then we're going to be able to get a big bag, man. So you guys make sure you go to our YouTube page, like, subscribe, and comment. Make sure today you comment more than ever, because today is something extremely serious, and I'm pretty sure most people have had similar experiences as to what we're going to discuss today. So make sure that you guys comment so we can get a vibe to just say that we're on the right track of what we're all thinking and feeling. Our sponsors are Sheikhs. They got the best breakfast in the city, so make sure you go to Sheikhs for your breakfast. Agnes All Natural Grill for lunch. If you're ever injured in any kind of way, or even if you want to bring up a malpractice case, you want to call Attorney Michael Wright at 937-222-7477. When you want to get bent, get you a little bit of that Kiara Wine. It will have you feeling fine, and you might even be able to, excuse me, Robin and T, hit her from behind.
Hey.
Kiara Wine, you guys. When you want to kick it a little bit. And then last but not least, it's the shoparea.com, the shoparea.com, the shoparea.com. They are the baby Amazon. When you think to go to Amazon, go to the shoparea.com instead. She is a queen right here from the city, man, and she got it all figured out. And it's the shoparea.com. It's free delivery every day from the door, from the store to your door in 4 business days. So that's the shoparea.com. We broadcast every day from T-Shirt Kings. We're at 4301 North Main Street. T-Shirt Kings, gold for your mouth. T-shirtkings247.com and Camera King Studios, where you can take family photos, portraits, and pictures of all kinds. So come on through and let us take your pictures, and then you could post them on Facebook and be major. And we also got Dash Resource, where we teach you how to make big bread, man, by selling stocks, man. And that's hosted by my brother Peanut Johnson, man, every day on his YouTube channel. So make sure that you guys tap in every Sunday at 8 p.m. and he's going to teach you how to get a whole lot of money, man. Sell stocks, not dope. And without further ado, my brother Peanut Johnson, over to you.
Man, thanks, bro. I appreciate that. To me, you know, we have legendary people always, you know what I mean? But to me, you know, what's indicative of a legend is overcoming obstacles. I mean, and to me, there's no harder, you know, legend, a fighter than who we have here today, which is her second time being here, which makes her, you know, even more special to have you here again. You know, we have this thing where it's Voices of Our Community, which is kind of similar to the show we're having today, where we talk about certain situations that affect us all. And I think your story is going to benefit a lot of people. So without further ado, we have Javette Mobley. Or we can say Robin Javette Mobley. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm fine. Hey, Peanut. Hey, Smith.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, family.
Right.
I have my friend, one of my best friends, Tiffany. She's here with me as well. And
y'all look pretty, by the way. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
It took a lot, like trying to figure out what I can throw on, because I just had surgery. So I guess we might as well get right into it, right? So I found that it was very important for me to speak about my testimony and what recently has happened to me. And hopefully with me speaking about it and Tiffany speaking about what's happened to her and her family, that we can enlighten our African American community in relations to cancer.
Yes.
It's a word that you don't want to talk about. It's a word that when you hear, you're very afraid, because immediately when you hear cancer, you think of death.
Yes.
And I've experienced it myself, and recently in 2020, not only did I lose my mother, but I lost 2 aunts back to back right after my mother due to cancer that were misdiagnosed. And then I also lost my father from COVID. And so in between that time of 2020, I was going through a lot of things, but I will back you up just a little bit. I had, my doctor had did a CAT scan. Actually, she was looking at my kidneys.
Okay.
And within doing that, you could see whatever was going on in my lung. So I noticed that there was something over there, you know, on my lung, but they never addressed it with me. Nobody never said anything to me about it. So I kept having problems with dealing with my kidney. And every time I would go have a test, I noticed that the number kind of changed on whatever this was that was over in the lung that nobody was addressing with me. So what I did was, what I have right here, you guys, is I keep documentation of all my doctor visits. I do my research, and I keep all of it in an envelope. So if one thing, if it's dealing with, even if it's dealing with my head or whatever, I have a file or something dealing with me going to see the doctors and everything about it.
Right.
So what happened was, when I noticed that nodule was changing and I didn't know what it was, I had put all the paperwork together. I printed off all the tests that I had that was showing that this specific nodule was, you know, getting a little large or whatever. So I made an appointment with my doctor, and I was like, no, you need to tell her I need to really see her. So I made an appointment. I went in. I had all the paperwork, had it in order for her and everything. And then she looked at it, and she said, I need to get you to some other doctors. So the process started with going to see other doctors. But see, here's the kicker. This is how we're treated. So when I started going to see these other doctors, they would say, oh, we don't believe it's cancer. It's not that big, even if it's grown. They kept blowing me off. And when I say I'm not lying, this is on my mother, that I felt very blown off. Me and my friend had several conversations of all these doctor's appointments that I was going to, and they kept asking me to wait. Wait for what? What exactly are we waiting for when I'm telling you that I have cancer in my family very, very bad?
Yes.
I'm stressed about just losing my 2 aunts. I'm stressed about losing my mom and my dad. And there is something in my body that and that I felt didn't need to be there. When I say I was constantly fighting for myself, fighting for my rights, fighting for them to pay attention to me, and everybody kept telling me, no, wait, we watching it. There was even one point where I was sent to one doctor. Well, he was like, I don't even know why they're sending you to me. Like, I don't believe that it's cancer, so I'm not going to order a CAT scan. I went 6 months without no one watching this nodule. It went from a 4 to a 9 in 6 months. And nobody was watching me. And what happened was, when they sent me over to, is it the oncologist? What do they call? I'm not a doctor, you guys. Everybody just watching. He sent me back over to that same doctor's office, which I told him I didn't want to see that doctor.
Right.
So the other doctor ordered the scan, and that's how we found out it was growing. So then that's when he said, okay, well, let's watch it for another 3 months. Then we'll do a biopsy. So within the 3 months, it was growing, but it's growing gradually. To me, nothing should be in my body growing freaking period, regardless what anybody says.
Right.
So then I did the biopsy. So after doing the biopsy, I was told by one doctor that it wasn't cancer. I think she even gave me a name of something else. Then I was told by another doctor, I don't know, maybe we just need to watch it a little bit. So then they asked me to wait another 3 months. So I waited and watched it another 3 months, did the little celebration of my birthday. But I was really concerned about this nodule. Like, it was really starting to kind of stress me. Not that I didn't trust God, but I really believe that he was leading me to say, hey, something's wrong somewhere.
Right.
So, and then I got something to tell you about that. But so then what happened was I went and had the test again, and it had grown some more. And at that point, I had my son on the phone with me, and he just lost it.
Yes.
And went off on the doctor, and the doctor was getting upset because my son was going off on him, and he was like, what are y'all going to do about this? My mom has cancer in the family really bad. He said, well, I'll do a biopsy. See, this is how when God started moving, because he wanted to do a second biopsy, he sent over the referral to, I'm not going to say the hospital, but he sent it over to this other hospital. Whoever this doctor was that does the biopsy and everything said, look, he wrote a letter. He said on this date, she had a test and it said this and looked suspicious. On this day, she had a test and it looked suspicious. On this day, she had a biopsy and it was abnormal. None of my doctors had ever told me that it was abnormal. Nobody ever said it was abnormal. I probably would have been fighting even a little more.
Right.
At that point, then the other doctor said, well, let me refer over to, see a surgeon. I have to say, the doctor that did my shoulder surgeries, he was the one that referred me first to a doctor, a surgeon. It wasn't the other doctors that I was seeing. It was a doctor that was a total different doctor. Yeah, completely. But he just happened to be talking to me in regards to the shoulders. And I just told him, I'm really stressed about this nodule. I keep talking to him. And he got a little upset. He was like, nodule? Just think about it. When you have cancer, they talk about if they open you.
Do you have somebody else coming here today?
Hey, Shield.
Oh yeah. We have another chair there. Sorry
One
about
of my
that.
friends, Lachelle.
My bad. Look, hold on, you guys. Let's take a quick break real quick so we can get it set up real quick, you guys. I'm gonna put it on me for a second. All right, y'all, man. My bad. I thought somebody was coming here for me. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute, we doing a show. But she actually here for J Bet, so.
Okay.
Y'all slide down. Just
Keep the conversation going.
Okay.
One thing that I wanted to add to this situation is, man, it's amazing. Like you never know what's motivating to a doctor, to a hospital, and so on and so forth. I mean, because there is a business that's happening here. And we know that money is a motivator for sure. And you can always follow the money when you're trying to look for something that's corrupt. And sometimes you just don't know that if they want things to get bad enough where they can actually go in there and make a bigger amount of money off of you.
Right.
You don't know that if it's
Right.
I mean, I could be totally wrong too, but just looking at it is how much of this stuff is actual testing that's going to figure out what you need to become well.
Right.
And then how much of it is we're going to do this test because this is another $10,000 we can deal to the insurance. So you're not sure that if this is actual care that you're getting to get you well,
Right.
or if it's another way for the doctors to do some more scans or something.
And you know what, that brings a point, because you can't talk about it. I don't know if you guys ever realized, if you've ever been at your doctor's office and you see these people coming in the doctor's office with the briefcases, they have on the black pants, the white shirts. Y'all ever seen them people come in here, the guys, the females, and they're bringing the doctors lunches, they're taking them to lunch, and you know what they're doing? Yes,
pharmaceutical reps.
the reps.
Right.
And they're negotiating and talking to the doctors, and next minute you know, the doctors have samples and things in their doctor's office to give the patients. And we all know that when you're watching television and they say, oh, take such and such a pill, but hey, it may cause death, you may go blind, you may not wake up, you may lose your ear, you know what I'm saying, all kind of stuff like that, but your doctors want to give it to you. So it's like, at some point, when do we really start talking about this whole medical, the whole medical field, the doctors, the insurance company, and the insurance company at the end of the day has the final say, because the doctors are not going to move without the insurance company. The doctors is not even going to do a blood test to check for cancer unless you meet such and such criteria, and then your doctors will do it. So that's even a discussion that needs to start happening in our society about how everything is motivated through the insurance companies. And where are these doctors that actually really care about their patients? I'm not saying that not all of them don't, but it's they're going by the book or whatever this book is. What are they teaching them that they're so senseless and not caring about a patient or the stress about a patient? Especially for me, when I'm saying it runs in my family.
Right.
I just lost my 2 aunts that was misdiagnosed. I'm crying. I'm telling them. When I say everybody knows that I freaking fight, I fight.
Yes.
And I fought and fought and fought and fought, and it was so stressful that my blood pressure was going up.
Yeah.
I was on 5 blood pressure pills. Now I work out. I eat healthy, keep myself together. I said something is wrong somewhere in my body. But you know what? Not only that, my mother was a very spiritual woman. Rest in peace, Mom. My mom died February the 4th. So my mom, you guys, the day that she had, my mother had multiple seizures and a stroke that left her 2 weeks before she died, where she couldn't speak to us or anything, right? But let me tell you what my mom did, and I shared this on my video page, so you guys may have seen it on my video page, on my Facebook page. Yeah. My mother couldn't speak, so I went to see her that morning. My mother took my hand and put it to her face, and she began to pray for me, y'all. Later that day, my mother took her hand, and she went across my stomach, the right side of my stomach. And then she went across the right side of my stomach. And I said to my mother, Mom, I was like, I'm okay. And my mother couldn't speak to me, but my mother looked at me, y'all, and took her hand, and then she patted She just kept patting on the right side. When my mother did that, I knew something was going on, and that I had to keep fighting to get that nodule out of my body. And if it wasn't for the doctor at that hospital to do a letter, I promise you, they still would have made me wait. I was told that it was at the point that it was starting to get ready to break into other places. This is how God is good. Yes, this is
spore out.
That spore out. That's what she said. And God is amazing. His mercy and his grace that he has upon my life is something, y'all. It was just about to, the nodule was right there at my lung. At the nodule between the lung and in your chest. And that surgeon said, if it would have went up your chest, it wouldn't have been nothing we could have done for you. You would have went from stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4.
God.
This is what he told me. Not one doctor has apologized to me. Only the doctor that did the surgery came back to the hospital. He woke me up and said, Javette, you had cancer. And tears started falling down my eyes. Because I fought, and I have to take every breath that I have left now. To tell people that follow me, that are watching, y'all fight for your parents. You fight for your family. Because I believe that a lot of people that have died from cancer could have been saved.
Yes.
You keep going back to that doctor. You keep your documentation, and you keep fighting with them, and tell them to take it out. Take it out. Because when they took it out, it was cancer. And if I would have just sat there and let them keep bouncing me back and forth, y'all would have all been sitting on a show talking about me one day of what I did in the community. So I have to take the voice that I have right now. I'm tired and I'm weak, and it was a very painful surgery. They had to cut it out of my lung. I'm going to take every breath that I have to help my African American community. Y'all start putting fire up under the doctors. I'm tired of seeing on Facebook, rest in peace to my mom, rest in peace to my dad. Because of cancer, we have to fight.
So, Robin, what did the people say? What did the doctors say that didn't take it out? I mean, have you talked to them about it?
None of them have called to apologize. Nobody. Now, I have appointments to talk to those doctors. But what I did was I went before God because he started stirring my spirit, and I know he started stirring my spirit because it was about the spur. Is that what you called it? Spore out. So God started speaking to me in my spirit. I switched doctors, y'all. It's okay, y'all, to switch doctors.
Yes.
Sometimes you got to switch and get in another lane to keep moving forward. And I switched doctors, and I prayed, and I said, God, I need a good doctor. And honestly, I said I need a female doctor.
So let me ask you this. So when you was getting ready to go back to the doctor, okay, you finally got the information that this is cancerous now.
No, wait a minute. I didn't know it was cancer until he took it out.
Yeah, he already took it out.
So he took it out, and then he told you that it was cancer.
Yeah.
And how long ago was this?
I just had surgery the 27th.
Wow.
The 27th.
And you called the doctors and tried to tell them what was going on, and they ain't returned your calls yet?
Yeah, I told them. Yeah. So I would have thought that because of the stress that I went through.
I mean, we talking about doctors here. We talking about doctors got to put a lot on the line. So let's say that I'm a good doctor, all right, and I really do want to go in here and I want to help people, all right, and I want to make life better and cure patients and all this and that. But let's say that I do make an honest mistake, then I get hit with malpractice. So kind of like police officers, doctors. These are people who can really help society, and we do look for these people for help. But if they make a mistake, a lot of times, like, they get all of this backlash that it makes you be like, damn, do I want to be a doctor? Or a police officer or whatever. But when it comes to your situation, like these doctors, man, that aren't coming back to talk to you and give you counseling or tell you any type of reason that they did that, like, it seems like they deserve to be sued.
Right. Well, Smith, I also want to speak more to that. I mean, historically, just historically, from a historical standpoint, especially when it's, you know what I'm saying, like you can look this up under medicalnewstoday.com, which they have the whole NCIB network that proves it back with like numbers. But black people have been like marginalized, and the disparity between quality healthcare providers, the gaps when it comes to insurance, a lot of those things, especially like the pain tolerance of black people, especially black females, they will literally give somebody the higher doses of a different color, skin color, and then they will give you ibuprofen to go home with. So, I mean, I'm like, I can get that at the drugstore. I'm here because I'm obviously in pain. Like a lot of this is based in slavery, because I mean, like a lot of their medical books are based off of 19th century practices. I mean, I looked at the information here off camera. 73% of their information is false, based off of myth that was put in the 19th century medical books. They still go off today. But to me, I feel that yes, the road to hell is paved in good intentions. Yes, your intentions could be good, but it's about accountability. I can't call myself a cop if I'm not going to be accountable for my actions. I can't say, oh, we all make mistakes. No, you are held to a higher standard because you are caring for other people. You can make all the mistakes you want to in your own house with your own children, and then you can take that up with your family. When you are caring for other people's family, this is trusted. This is the most precious life force of somebody.
Let me say this, though.
Yeah.
If it were one doctor, that would be bad enough.
Exactly.
She was failed by several doctors. And I was with her when they treated her as if, like she was making it up, like it was really no big deal. It's a small moving carcinoma. You said carcinoma. Well, it's really not that bad. We're going to keep watching it, and we were saying watch for what?
Yeah.
Well, I said, so is it that you don't want to do it? You don't want to perform the surgery? Oh, I'm a surgeon. I love to cut. But I'm telling you, it's going to be painful. We're going to have to cut from here to here and here to here. And we were like, and?
Yeah.
You know, what's your point? I don't, please, just, I agree with the oncologist, and we're waiting for the radiologist report. But everything that we're seeing, there's nothing to really be worried about right now. So she waited till September, but then we went in, okay, I think we should wait. No. No, we're not waiting.
So let me ask you a question. So at that point, there were no other options provided for them than wait.
Provided for
the most part.
Yeah, it wasn't no secondary things. Okay.
Not actually. I was given the impression that sending her to this surgeon, if he had said, let's just go ahead and take it out, everybody would have been fine with it. He said he was listening to what everyone else was saying and say, even if it did change, it's moving so slowly that in 3 more months, it really, but let's back it up. You guys said it's not moving, it's not changing years ago, 2014. It's not changing. Don't worry about it till it does. Now it is. Oh, well, it's changing, but not very much. Okay, now it's changing slowly, but it's changing in density.
Right. The density started changing.
So now it's like, no, we're not waiting. What are we waiting for? Just the waiting for it to grow into what? My 2 aunts were told the same thing.
I told them that.
Just wait.
I told them that.
Oh, but the likelihood that you would have that same issue, and then I just said,
what do you mean the likelihood? I had 2 people die from
We're not waiting. We're not waiting. So now it's about, are we setting a date or we're finding another doctor? Because
and that's what I did. I ended up, let me say this, and I think that we should do research as well. And so I researched and did find another in Smith. So what I was saying about when I found another doctor, she started moving immediately, had me come in, and she sat with me for a whole hour. Went over everything that I went through. She said, I'm going to be here with you. And I'm going to come to the hospital. I'm going to support you in this. And I remember waking up several times and this doctor was there. But when you spoke of the pain, let me tell y'all, investigate your doctors that do the surgery. This doctor that did the surgery on me never, not one time, told me He did not believe in the medication. Did he not tell me?
He never mentioned
He
that.
never mentioned it. So let me tell y'all what happened to me at this specific. I'm not gonna name the hospital right now, but I had the surgery. My son said that they brought me back in that room. He said I was shaking, my eyes were fluttering. He said my lips was white, completely white. He said that when all I kept saying was pain, pain, pain. Do you know that doctor that did the surgery on me does not believe in giving that medication, and he refused to give me medication?
How can someone?
No. Am I lying?
No, I believe you. I totally believe you.
She got stronger meds with the biopsy than she got when they actually went in and removed the nodule.
That should be against the law, man.
No. Oh yeah, that's what I said.
He gave her Tylenol.
I had a major surgery.
Tylenol drip, and then later on they did give her a muscle relaxer. Then I'm on the phone with her when they want to give her Ativan because her anxiety. You think?
She was just in pain.
Yeah.
And the nurse said, and this is what I heard on the phone. That doctor does that, and no one's going to go behind him.
Yeah.
You can't get anyone. They're not going to. No other doctor is going to say no. She needs something stronger.
The final surgery that you had.
The final surgery to
They would
remove
give
the
you
nodule.
medicine after.
No, they gave her Tylenol.
They would give you the right medicine that you really need.
I can name what they said. They said I'm sitting there when she said, "Can you go research? Can I have what I had before?" Because Robin is allergic to like 34 different meds.
Right.
So they have to be careful.
Right. Yeah.
So they're trying to give her something that she hadn't had before.
And I wouldn't have
Why can't you give me what I had before?
Right.
Yeah.
And they said we got to research, go find what that is. You would think they would have done that
They would've
before.
already had that in her chart.
So then they said
Right.
she had fentanyl and narco with the biopsy. But he gave her Tylenol drip, Ativan for her anxiety, and then Robaxin, which is a muscle relaxer.
I know somebody who got what's it called, appendectomy or something like that, and they gave them like the Dilaudid and all type of different stuff.
No,
like,
listen.
No.
But let me tell you something. This is something else.
That's
because
crazy.
We need to be educating each other as well. You have rights as a patient when you go into a hospital. Any moment that you do not feel comfortable about your care, or you do not feel safe, you start asking for higher people in that hospital. And I forewarned them first. My kid said that I was on a little medicine. He said I said you barking up the wrong tree. And then Christopher said I said, trust me, I'm the wrong one that you want something to happen to at this hospital. They called the head person.
They had to call the hospitalist because
Yes.
if they're going to give her medicine she's never had before, the practice has been to give her Benadryl. So if she has a reaction, it would be something that wouldn't be as bad.
Right.
Because she can tell you how she reacts to medication.
No adverse reaction will happen if she'll have
it's not
Benadryl.
just
It was
highs.
serious.
I mean, heart rate going up, blood pressure
Seizures,
going up,
heart,
seizures,
everything.
blood coming out the
If they give you the
orifices.
wrong
Like
thing.
if
Yeah,
they give her the
like
wrong
anaphylaxis.
thing,
The wrong thing.
you know. So can we get? She had. I'm saying she, myself, her daughter, everybody's advocating to finally get the. We had to go to the hospitalist, and she had to wait.
Yeah.
So she's in pain and all this. She had to wait for the hospitalist because the pharmacist said she did not need
A
Benadryl
pharmacist.
with this medicine.
Yeah.
And I was telling her, to all my pharmacist friends out there, that the pharmacists are chemists. They know better than the doctors do as far as the medicine, but do they know Robin?
Right.
Are they taking this individual? They can say, generally, people don't need this. But what about 34, 35 allergies?
Yeah.
Has he looked at her stuff and said, it's okay for her to take this without Benadryl? It's not in any of those families. They did. It's generally speaking.
Right. Right.
So she's in pain for
I was in pain
hours.
for a long time.
That is.
And to find out you had cancer.
So one thing that stuck out in my mind is it was multiple doctors who failed, right?
It was multiple.
Are these doctors like connected in some type of network together? Like, for example, like,
that's a good question.
I
Like
say, go to
Premier
Premier
or-
and then
Like
see
Premier or
if,
something like
he'll
that.
do it. Or were these
Oh,
just
no.
all independent doctors that you went to on your own?
No, it's
Did they
who
know each
your
other?
your
They
physician
refer you.
refers you to a doctor,
And
and
then
that
they
doctor
read the
refers
notes.
you to another doctor. They're supposed to.
They're reading the notes from one doctor to the next, and
They're supposed
each
to.
doctor is probably writing in the notes that they don't think that you need
Correct.
the surgery.
Correct.
And so they're not doing their own research about
Correct.
it all.
Right.
They just taking a shortcut.
Right.
Even when the radiologist said, I do not believe that we need to wait any further.
He did.
That there have been significant, even though it's slow moving, it's abnormal for this type of carcinoma to have this significant change in this small period of time.
Yeah, he
What does
said
carcinoma mean?
Yeah.
It's
a
cancer,
tumor.
cancer.
A
in
tumor
the
that
lung.
could be cancerous.
Okay.
Because when they did a biopsy, it came back inconclusive. That's when we were like, oh, then you take it out. Take it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Inconclusive means not yes, but not no. Let's
Right.
take it out.
Right.
Well, let's wait.
I have a problem with America where you can go get face injections, butt lifts,
Yeah, oh,
big
yeah.
old, whatever you want to get cosmetically, but I got to argue with y'all over
About-
cuts something that can kill me
Yes,
out of my body.
Yes, and that's
And
the
to keep
thing
saying
we
how
talk about.
painful it was. And
He
then
did.
then we were like, so is she being made to suffer because she chose to have the surgery? Like,
Right.
and it was like, no, not her. This doctor does not give these kind of meds.
Yeah.
She's
I
not
can
wanting
attest to
these
that.
forever.
No, 'cause I
She's
don't
saying
even drink,
this
smoke,
first
nothing.
day, these first hours, and then give me something less and less. But I just
Had surgery.
had surgery.
That would be something that you think that they would make, like, they would bring to your attention before you go under the knife.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't. No,
That has to
that's
be
on
against the law.
everything. He didn't. He did not. But short to just needless to say, that doctor from the hospital, he overruled the doctor that did the surgery, and they took care of me all the way up until they made a mistake and let me drive myself home without calling my family. So that's a whole nother issue that we'll be dealing with. But yeah.
She was there.
Oh my God, man. So
And this is not uncommon. It's not unusual. It's very unfortunate.
yes.
Because even just to touch base a little bit, for my situation, even my own experience, I was having issues, and I have issues. I was going to a doctor. I thought one doctor, one stop, you know. So I go to a DO, and I said, okay, I'm a female. It's time for my annual, pap smear pelvic exam. Oh, I need a referral. No, you don't need a referral. We can do that here.
Okay.
Okay, I do that. But for 2 years, I'm having issues. They keep telling me I'm losing blood. What does that mean? I'm looking on the ground like, what do you mean I'm losing blood?
Where am I losing it at?
And we've done all these tests, and they're saying, well, you're anemic. So then they're treating me for anemia. And I'm taking shots, and I'm taking pills, and I'm having all these reactions. And finally, I was working at Delphi, and I took these 3 iron pills as he told me to. And by the time I got to work that night, I was walking and that comic where the clown is like behind a box, and as he walks, he's getting shorter and shorter. That's how I was walking down, like I couldn't go any further. They sent me to the hospital. I'm having an allergic reaction to the iron. It was just too much for my body. Change doctors. Change doctors. Finally go to my OB, and he says, yeah. He says, your cervical lining is twice that of normal. You have to have a hysterectomy.
Oh my God.
This has probably been going on for the last couple years. Where have you been?
Going to
I've been
doctors.
over here doing what they told me. Well, you were getting, they go back through my records. You were getting pelvic exams, but not pap smears. So
There's a difference.
there's a difference because, with the pelvic exam, they don't go past the cervix. With the pap smear, they're going into the womb. They're checking the, ovaries, the tubes, they're,
And they also swap
but they
and
didn't,
everything else.
they weren't doing that. But I don't know, legs in the stirrups. I don't know, he's doing what he say he's doing,
Right,
and that's what I
right.
thought.
Man.
So that was me. That was my experience. And then I have to mention this. With my mother, she moved from Ohio to Kentucky, 65 years old. She got on a brand new doctor. 15 years later, she says, I have this cough. She goes to the doctor. He says, you're getting over chest cold. She says, okay, but what's this lump? They run it to the hospital. They do all this. It's breast cancer. But it's only stage 2. And we're going to get it all out.
Don't you tell me only the stage. I'm having to deal with somebody that's only.
Oh, no. Then they tell
Right.
me, then I go down, my due diligence, my friend and I, and let me see my mother's medical records. 65. Never did a doctor order colonoscopy. My grandmother had colon cancer. Never did they order a mammogram. My mom went to the local health center. Well, there was a senior center where they all would meet, play cards, that kind of thing. So they had a health fair. She went there, and they said that they saw something, and they sent it to her doctor. I'm going through her records. No mention of it. No, he never said anything to her. It's in her records, so he got it. Never. 10 years later, she does it again. She goes to another health fair. She's thinking everything's great. They send it to her. They say, this time, instead of just looking at it, it needs to be biopsy. Never told her.
So she's making her routine inspections.
Back in her routine, they
only find it at health fairs.
They saw it at the health fair, but even when they sent it to the doctor, he never addressed it. Then she goes and they say, it's stage 2, we're going to give her this, chemo and everything is good. I'm talking to other people, it's like, get a PET scan. I get a PET scan. I order. They're like, well, stage 2, she really doesn't need a PET. I'm asking you, is it insurance? She has Medicare and Medicaid. What is the problem?
Yeah.
So I had to push. And they got the PET scan, and I go back and the doctor says, be glad that your daughter's so assertive, because we found stage 4 breast cancer in your hip.
Oh my God, man.
My mother found her cancer in January, and she died that December.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And she goes, she's at a doctor. And I'm asking, no one can tell me, why did you not order with a 65-year-old brand new African-American female patient? Why would you not have a baseline? I need my own colonoscopy. I need you to, they never did.
It's too many.
And because it's a commonwealth, there was nothing I could do. And I talked to an attorney for malpractice. This is what he told me. The town that my mom lived in is so small, they don't have a bus station. They don't have a RTA. They don't have a public transportation. They don't have an airport. The doctor's insurance company, because that's who I'd be suing, not the doctor, but the insurance. That's why I get the malpractice insurance. My responsibility would be to bring in specialists to disprove. So I'm going to bring in an oncologist who says, this is my specialty. And I'm telling you, in my professional opinion, had this been addressed at this time, this woman would still be here. It wouldn't have been this. So what they can do, though, is they can postpone it 24 hours before a court date. So if I fly someone in from California to Louisville or E-Town, and then have to have them driven into this little town and put them up, and I have to pay for their food and their lodging and all that, I'm going to have them in more than 24 hours before the court date. So then that day they can say, oh, we're going to postpone it. I got to fly them back home and then keep doing this. My money wouldn't be long enough.
So they basically,
I would never.
Big bank take little bank.
Yeah.
Right. And that's all it is to it. So then they push the little poor person, because my money's not like that.
You couldn't fight him.
And there was nothing for me to do but to warn people. I contacted the board of the hospital where he was. I contacted the state, but Commonwealth is a lot different. I learned than with other states. They kind of they govern themselves, so they don't have to answer federally to some people.
Do y'all think that just doctors just don't care, or they lazy, or what is making them do this? Because mom had insurance, right?
My mother had Medicare and Medicaid, so
he would have been paid had he performed these surgeries and done the treatment that she needed.
He would have.
What is their motive in not giving out good care?
Well, I will say this. I think that, I don't know, Medicaid and Medicare probably doesn't pay as much as the other insurance, first of all. So the doctors get a little less. They get a little less from the surgeries. They get a little less from the ER bills. They do pay. It's the government. So
and they have to wait.
Yes, and have to wait and all those things. I think the insurance does play a big part in how you care for your patient. Because they're either going to approve a test or not a test. They're going to approve blood work or they're not going to approve blood work. But it depends on where are those doctors that used to fight. You know what I'm saying? Fight for your patients. Fight for the care. Fight like y'all know that some of this medication out here is crazy medicine that's causing more health problems. Where are the doctors that literally fight for their patients these days? That's the question.
Their
That's
hands
a
are
good
tied
question,
by the
man.
insurance companies because
Right.
if they don't play ball, they don't get paid.
Each other's back.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, to me, I always want to say it's deeply rooted in slavery. I mean, I just looked up the like the actual person who started this, which is this award-winning doctor. His name is J. Marion Sims. He's supposed to be the father of modern gynecology, right? He literally performed on black female slaves without anesthesia.
No anesthesia because they weren't
Oh
believed to
yeah,
have to
yeah,
feel
because they
pain.
could take more pain, had a stronger pain.
This is the same person who they're still using as a reference for how they're going to
But
conduct
what's the
medical.
theory though, bro? I'm asking you, not disagreeing with you, but I'm just asking for everybody that may watch this. What is his theory that is it that's causing them not to just do these surgeries? Make sure that they're paid, because I'm hearing the insurance talk that the doctors are getting paid slower and they don't want to deal with it because they ain't gonna get their money for it. And okay, there is a motive there, but if somebody's got insurance, I don't see why a doctor would not do like they supposed to.
I'm
So
tell you
just trying
what,
to figure it out.
because according to today.com, which there's so like today, they say pain is an area ripe for implicit bias, having an impact because of extremely subjective areas, such as when you come inside there, they ask all of us the same question. They say, like, what's your pain level? And you may say a 10. He's going to say, no way you in 10, because if you was a 10, you probably couldn't even speak right now. You know what I mean? It's like, because I remember when I got to a car accident, and I remember I had got to a car accident, and I went down to, I'm not going to say exactly where I went, but the guy really was giving me a hard time. He was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if your neck really was hurting like that, you wouldn't be wearing a shirt like that. And I'm like, I had help putting my shirt on today.
Like, was I supposed to come naked?
Right, right.
Yeah.
And people
And they literally will use, like, you're
So
going to
you
tell
think-
me the pain I'm under.
Doctors they don't want to give medicine because they're assuming everybody just wants the drug.
Then they go talk to
That's part of
Right.
the problem. I mean, you got to be honest that, what is it called? The
Opiate.
So that
Opiate.
is out there, and that's an issue out there, but you need to do patient by patient, case by
Yeah,
case.
for sure.
Don't let somebody come in here and they're in pain, but because y'all don't want to give people medication, you have people suffer. I done had so many people call me or inbox me for my show, talking about the different situations that they've been through where the doctors wouldn't care for them or give them medication, and things like that. So I just think that, I just hope that when we do start pushing like the campaign and start talking about all these things, that even the doctors meet with each other and say, maybe we have been a little harder, not caring as much. Now, a lot of them are probably going to say because of COVID, because of the stress of COVID, because I'm pretty sure if you look at the doctor office records, I'm pretty sure a lot of doctors have lost patients. Not just because, they are saying the COVID, but they're at home not being cared for.
Yes.
They're not getting tested. Did you see on the news where they talked about how many people had cancer? They talked about how many people through the whole thing with COVID, they had cancer by the time they got to their doctors and things. So, that could be an excuse right now in 2021.
It's a lame excuse.
COVID, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I don't know.
To me, I think it's a lame excuse because, like, for instance, you couldn't get away with this as a mechanic.
Right.
Oh, definitely not.
Right. So
No,
how do you do it with someone?
You could not drive
As
your
a
car into a Pep
veterinarian.
Boys and they tell you, okay, we're gonna keep changing this tire and you need a whole engine, and that person's still gonna have a job. No, it doesn't work like that. There should be some accountability when it comes to that, not just I gotta beat you when it comes to malpractice too. I'm saying that people should be having their stuff taken. There's stuff that I don't know if we can pull it up. I don't know if we're gonna do it or not, but there were doctors out there that were literally writing their college insignia on people's body parts, where they literally put in like University of Kentucky, like signing and signing. Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
Oh, so like the artist signing a portrait to say
Yeah, they were doing that inside of people's bodies. There's no accountability on like on that stand front. We don't have anybody to stand in front of us when it comes to because
they say they go by the book. At the end of the day, I literally
the 19th century book
I'm
of who we
serious.
are.
I
Yeah.
went to a doctor and he said He doesn't see how people can blame it on them when they just going by the book. At some point, though, you a human being. Though.
They just
if
saying
you
that,
have a person that says this cancer runs in my family, I lost mama, grandmothers, uncles, cousins, da 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 da. Most recently, 2 aunts back to back that was misdiagnosed. Specific with what I've been going through. I mean, I had one doctor tell me that there are things that grow in people's body all the time that don't kill them. And so we went back and forth about it. So then what happened was I showed this specific doctor the letter that came from the other doctor that she didn't get that said, just remove it. But this is a doctor that I know, and we going back and forth about it. So it's like you have to stand up for yourself.
End of that conversation, though. That doctor said, well, you're going to do what you want to do anyway.
Yeah, it's like if I hadn't have fought, I promise y'all, if I had not,
be here.
I don't think that, after a while, I probably wouldn't have been here. Yeah, I don't. And that's the honest to God truth, because they weren't listening to me at all about removing this. And then to have surgery, and the doctor come in and says, J-Bag, you had cancer. Then the new lung doctor, a couple of days or so after having surgery, calls me to her office, and she sits right there in front of me and says, you had cancer. If you hadn't fought for yourself, this could have turned a whole nother way.
Okay. What do you think should be implemented in the medical profession to help that?
I think newer training. Not every patient is the same. You have to understand there are a few of abnormal patients that can't take certain medicines like other people, that don't feel pain like other people. That don't mean that they don't have cancer. It don't mean that they don't have lupus. It doesn't mean that they don't have these things. We're all different. We're not the same. You read one book, even if it's a book about white people, I'm just saying, if it's a book about black people, if it's a book about Indian, how are you going to take care of a white person, if it's an Indian and you reading out of a white person's book or a black person's book? My point of saying that is that I think that there needs to be more talk. There needs to be more discussions, because I was the ad norm, which I stated all the time. I'm not the normal patient. And it gets to a point you're exhausted. I'm fighting. And then that day in the hospital, I'm fighting. And even up to the point when the doctor did the surgery, he told my son he didn't believe that it was cancer. But your mother, he said, your mother was adamant about having it removed. That same doctor had to come back and say to me, it was cancer. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, what do? We're not doctors. We didn't go to school for it. We're not making the money that you guys are making or none of that kind of stuff. So we're dying. We have to admit, we have a lot of African American women and men and children that are dying from cancer. What do we do as the healthy family members to help them fight? How do we keep up with the documentation and go look? So those of you that are watching, look through your mother and your dad's paperwork and see when they first had the nodule, see when they first had the mass, or see when they first had the tumor. See what the doctors did or didn't do. We could be saving. I get so angry because I lost my 2 aunts back to back from being misdiagnosed or not paying attention. We have to pay attention and start fighting that these doctors pay attention more.
Right. And I want to piggyback off that, because we're talking about results. Because because like, to me, I feel that we should be thinking about how we can prevent it from happening again. And the main reason I want to say it again is because we got enough rappers, and there's no disrespect to you being a rapper or inspiring rappers. We got enough entertainment. We need some of our brothers and sisters to be going into the medical field. Because like you said before, you having a sister look over your stuff is what really got things moving. And to me, it's more or less, we need more representation on every single level. And this is the part that we keep missing. We need more representation when it comes to medical representation. Yes, we'd had a black president. Yes, we had the first black this, the first black that. We need more when it comes to people that's caring for us.
Yeah. But we need to be responsible too, as black people. Men are ashamed to go get a colonoscopy because they don't want nobody body touching. I mean, let's keep it real. We here talking about it.
Yeah.
They don't want nobody touching them, you know, in the rectum area, or they don't want to have it. But a lot of y'all are dying from colon cancer.
Yeah.
You have women that feel funny about touching their breasts or whatever, but if you don't touch and examine yourself, you're not going to feel the mass or the knot or whatever. Or if you feel something abnormal in your neck that shouldn't be in your neck, they just keep letting stuff grow on you. And by the time you go to the doctor, it's too late. So it's both sides where we all need to probably be more responsible. And then us young people, pay more attention to your mother and your dad.
Yes.
I don't know all last week how many rest in peace I saw with mothers and fathers and people that had cancer. You have to be more responsible too and pay attention. Listen, when my mother was here, me and my sister had files and things. We kept up with everything that was going on with our mom. What you give her, what you didn't give her, how you gonna take care of our mom, everything. We have to do better with supporting and fighting for each other, because if I did not do that, this could be a whole nother different story. Period. It's the truth. Period.
Yes.
When she would have went back to get another PET scan, it would have been too late.
It would have been too late.
It would have been too late. And that's how they weigh that. They say, oh, we'll look at it again in 6 months. 6 months, it would have been too late.
Yeah. It was right there. Like
And
there's a lobe and the thing.
I want to
right
speak
there.
on this too about all the different doctors. My personal experience, and I know that Robin has been through it too, a little bit on what Smith said, even about, doctors coming together, like, what do we need to do? I have several different issues. I literally hurt from head to toe. What you said, when I deal with chronic pain, what I can tolerate, what I say is a 7 will put somebody else on the floor. But I can function because I have to. I've had to learn to deal with that, because there's nothing, either that or be knocked out, narcotics and all that kind of stuff all the time. But the doctors dealing with my migraines doesn't talk to the endocrinologist with my thyroid, doesn't talk to the urologist with my bladder, doesn't talk to the rheumatologist with my fibromyalgia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to, what you were saying, advocate for yourself, because I call it the Humpty Dumpty syndrome. If each person has a part and they're only dealing with their part.
Right.
I was on my way into surgery for my bladder, and he said, you have any questions or concerns? I said, I keep having these sharp pains in my back. Is that related to what's going on? I'm not going to be writing scripts for meds. So I'm here for your bladder. Anything else you need to talk?
Damn.
That.
Yeah.
But you know what?
You know
man?
what I'm saying?
I mean,
So I had to make sure that I'm making sure that everybody knows, because if you, with the migraines, talk to the person with the thyroid, talk to the person with the, because I'm a whole person. I'm not migraine 621, my birthday. I'm not, bladder room 1A. I'm,
Right.
and that's what we were saying. What's missing is the human factor. You become patient, whatever your social security number is, whatever your Medicare, Medicaid number is, and they're not looking at the mother, the daughter, the person, the father, the son. They're not. They're looking at this person, what I got to do to get them out the way so I can get to this person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
But that's
right.
why when you go to your doctor's office, I literally take paperwork from any other doctor that I, and they be trying to click and look. You be sitting there for 15, 20 minutes. And I say, here it is.
Here it is right here.
This is the doctor that I saw on this day. This is who I saw on this day.
Yeah.
It was a 6 on this day. It's a 9 now. I'm telling them. I'm showing them with my paperwork and documentation, and they still telling me, let's wait, let's watch, let's see.
Because
it was crazy.
now she's labeled.
Oh,
now you're going knowledgeable and you're a hypochondriac.
You're a hypochondriac.
Or I was called a malingerer. I had to Google it. I know what it means to linger, so I'm like, malingerer, someone who really has an illness, but they're exaggerating it.
Yeah.
Either for attention or for meds. When I'm going in telling them, I don't want your medicine. I want a solution. What's the let's get to the cause. You keep covering up the symptoms.
I mean,
I think doctors have become desensitized to people's own traumatic experience, and all they can do is just look at everyone as a skeptic. And so the thing that Peanut said that rang out true for me is so many times. So let me ask you, the doctors that you had that wouldn't perform the surgery, were they white, black, or
Indian problem?
Well, one of them was,
and I'm not being racist in that
white,
respect.
and it's what, 2 of them was white, 2 or 3 was white, and
Everyone I saw was
one
white.
was black.
But the
One
one,
was
the
black.
one that ended up doing the surgery is not that he didn't want to perform the surgery.
Yeah, he was going.
He
based off of
said,
the lung
I'm a
doctor.
surgeon. That's
Yeah.
what I love to do.
He
said, but based on what the
That
other
other doctor
doctors are
wanted to
saying,
do.
they're saying wait, so let's just wait.
Yeah,
And
he
so
sure
then
did.
after that wait, it was like, well, I mean, I really don't, I mean, what do you want to do? And it's like, we want it out. What do you
Right,
mean, what do we
right.
want to
So-
do?
But
Yeah.
he's the one that apologized. He was the one that apologized. He was the surgeon.
doctor that did the surgery?
The doctor
did.
that did the surgery was the one that eventually he the one, said,
So, I guess what I'm looking at is, I think that we definitely need more doctors that are brothers and sisters.
Absolutely.
For sure. Just so we cutting out all of these other possibilities of some racial bias that's in there, because it exists. As much as we would love to believe, like, come on, bro, that shit is dead.
Definitely.
They might not be looking at us as the same as they would be looking at us as at one of their own, and then putting their all in to save us, because, man, you got all of these preconceived notions about people before you actually meet them and get to know them. And some people just feel like, man, black people are expendable.
Say that. I have to
And
say,
especially when you're looking down, especially when you're a doctor and you're around the elite all the time and you run in these social circles, that, the average black person that's coming in here is poor. They might not have good insurance. So you just putting all of these different factors together as to why this person is actually expendable.
Right.
And I think that we do that with each other sometimes. Like, don't you
That's
get
true.
tired of looking? You look at a bro walking down the street with his pants hanging down, fresh off a blunt. He come in, man, niggas need to get their shit together. Like, we train damn near to look at each other like a little bit down our nose at somebody,
Yeah.
And so now we dealing with these doctors who are, shit, they done stepped up. They've done a lot of sacrificing and made it to a doctor, and now here comes another drug addict wanting some operation
And they
done, and
treat
they'll
me
even
that
go
way
through
before
a
they
damn
even know.
operation to get some drugs.
I have to say, I had with my experience and what all I was going through with all that ails me, I was going from doctor to doctor. I'm saying I'm in pain, and they kept referring me to another doctor, and they would say, I believe you're in pain. Then they send me to another doctor. I believe you're in pain. I got to a doctor, and I said, he sent me here, he sent me there. They could not find any source for my pain. He took my hand and he said, I believe you're in pain. And I just start bawling. And he's handing me tissue like, are we okay? You're the first person, bruh, who said, I believe you're in pain.
Yeah.
And he pushed through the insurance company, pushed past, and the surgery we performed, he was like, wow. Endometriosis, adhesions, which are inside scar tissue, don't show on x-rays.
Right.
Had he not advocated for me and gone in there, who knows? I was doubled over. I couldn't even straighten up.
Right.
Because I had all this scar tissue. So there are a few. This is the same man who said, anesthesiologist comes in, we're going to go into surgery. He says, can we pray? That was it. He does not have that God complex.
Right.
He considered the human. This is
Yeah,
after
fact.
I had been told by someone, I'm not going to keep writing scripts for meds, you know?
Right.
And this was someone who actually, so there, we're getting on the doctors is not doing their thing. And then the ones that are, they kind of get swallowed up by that. But I had to speak. If I had to speak on the other, I had to speak on that.
Yeah, so.
And that was a black doctor.
That was a black doctor who's doing things, who has moved up, who is still moving up, and he's in a great position right now. And he never look back. I mean, he never made me feel that he was looking down at me. He never made me feel like he doubted me. Even the doctors he sent me to made me feel they were like his same temperance, his same personality.
Man, you know, I got another observation too about how black people treat others. Like, we damn near kick our own ass. Like, we won't forgive each other for shit.
Right.
But we'll forgive anybody and everybody else. And I swear, man,
Joe Biden, for example.
we will break our back to give anybody else world-class service just so they can give us their stamp of approval. And I say that to say that while these other doctors might say, nigga, get down the road because I ain't dealing with you, you're downtrodden. If you got a black doctor and a white patient comes to their practice, that black doctor would do everything in their power to cure and heal that white patient.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't know if it's from a psychological standpoint, of we just want to please give us your approval to say, look, there is some good bros out here. We are good. We're capable of being good. I don't know, but I think if the roles was reversed, man, we would do people right, man, where we get done wrong.
I'm going to say that I agree with you 100%, but I'm going to tell you the reason why. This is the reason why I don't let people say that racism isn't systematic. It is systematic in a certain respect of how we look at each other. We don't value ourselves with the same guys that we do when it comes to like white people, for example, because we're not in a position to change anyone else's life. Such as, man, if I helped you, you know what I'm saying, of course, I'm saying, you could say, hey, man, like my bro helped me. Right, yeah. But if you help somebody that's in a position to help others, because they are in the people that are in power of certain things, then you kind of value that person's opinion over your own in certain respects. So then, like the guy that's walking down the street with his pants sagging or whatever, we're not looking at the systematic thing of he probably don't own a belt. You know what I mean? He's probably under like his own version of racism that is preventing him from getting to the next level. Whether that's every job he went to, it didn't work, or let's say, for instance, there's so many pitfalls and traps that'll make it to where he could have been the next surgeon, but he got a charge at 18 years old, and now he can never be a medical professional. You know what I mean? Like, you got sisters out here that you know, so for instance, you got sisters out here that can braid my hair because they're so good with their fingers. We'll be excellent surgeons. They can't because they caught a little fraud charge in 18, messing around with her little cousin and them or something like that. Yeah. It's so many pitfalls that keep us out of that arena to begin with. And I just think it's systematic that keeps us. I'm not giving us any excuse because, like I said, I've made it out of my circumstance, and you have too, Smith. But I'm just saying certain people aren't that strong. Just like I heard yesterday, man. Something I heard so powerful yesterday. It said, genius is about focus. Because there's so many people that are genius at being poor. They're geniuses of poverty. They're a genius of every part of life you could be a genius at. It's all about where your focus is going to be. And I feel like our focus should be on things that are edifying, things that are helping, things that are building for us all. Because like I said before, my grandmother was just in the hospital, and thank God she had good care and stuff like that. But that's because I beat the ambulance there.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm in there like, Smell, you see me run up out of here? But it's because it takes those words are so fitting nowadays than they ever were. It takes a village. It takes for us to be, because we don't have an OG that tells us, man, put that pack down. You tell that girl get out there. We gotta be the people that our OGs was to us. Because I promise you, so many times before I started selling, people told me not to. And I just think, like, I think what we all like surmise on this show was that we really need to help each other. We need to be more accountable. We need to be in our family's life. We need to keep the records.
To the doctor with you.
Go to the doctor. Take people to the doctor with you. Go to the doctor with your mother and your father, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins. And then even when they have surgery, somebody go to the hospital. Somebody be there. Somebody check. Because your family member could be hurting. They could be in pain. If nobody's there to watch or to say. I mean, one time you was at the hospital with me and they was giving me something I was allergic to. So you have to have somebody there to advocate for you. We just need to strengthen ourselves as family and friends and really start supporting our family members that are having these health ailments, because some of them I truly believe can be saved. They can be saved. And I think that my testimony is a prime example of how to advocate for yourself. At the end of the day, don't never give up and keep fighting. because I just know if I would have stopped, it would have been a whole nother story, and all these doctors wouldn't have never said nothing.
Right.
They would have just backed away.
1, 2, 3, not it.
Yeah, she died at such and such date and such time,
Had that.
and that would have been it. But I went to all these different doctors talking to them about this nodule that is in my lung, and I need it out of my lung. I mean, it was stressing me.
Right.
And they were not listening to me. And so I had to sit there when someone looked me in my face and said, I'm sorry, Javed, it was cancer. You had cancer. So then the other doctor calls me to the office to talk to me and said, you had cancer. Like, what the freaking, you know what I'm saying? Like, I asked them to remove it. So I think me advocating at this point is the voice that God gave you. Speak. Don't be scared. Everybody, we have that, what do they call it, the white coat syndrome?
Yes,
that you
I
get
do.
nervous.
I do.
Stethoscope.
My blood pressure is way higher when I'm sitting there. I take it myself and I'm fine.
So they don't say anything.
I'm
so
serious.
My advice is
I know.
when you get ready to go to your doctor's appointment, whatever's been bothering you, write it down before going to the doctor.
Yeah.
This is bothering me. This is bothering me. This is bothering me. Because let me tell you something. In their schedule, you only had 4 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. That's how they're doing us when we go to the doctor to see them. So you better write everything down and try to get as much in as you can, because we forget sometimes. So we have to start advocating like better for ourselves. And it's okay to say, this doctor is not working for me.
Yeah.
Me and this doctor is not meshing or communicating well. I don't know what it is. I've said that to him before. Me and you right now, and I was like, this isn't, I don't know what it is, but I can't come back to this doctor's office. Give me my paperwork, and I'm going somewhere else. And research your doctors too. But I did that lung doctor. That was it after that, because see, before the one that I left, it was the one in his office that refused to do a CAT scan. That let me go 6 months, and then by the time they checked it, it had grown to a 9. It went from the 4 to the 9. So my point is you have to, at some point, if it's not working, if you don't feel like they're caring for you, move on. It's okay. Go somewhere else, you know.
Doctors put on people's like medical records that they think that this person is only coming to the doctor in order to try to get drugs.
Yeah, and I think that's wrong. I think that's wrong, because
so no matter what new
too.
doctor you go to, they're gonna read that and then get that idea about you. Yeah, that's
these
kind of messed up.
doctors. I mean, if we gonna keep it real, these doctors are regular blow Joe. Go home, have kids, family, marriages, problems, issues, things, stress, COVID, all the things that's bothering them, and then they coming back into their job like we have jobs, misdiagnosing people, bringing their problems to the doctor's office. Don't feel like really dealing with this patient and looking into the patient. Let's keep it real.
That's right.
Their political beliefs as well.
That's right.
Yeah, the bureaucracy.
Yeah, they don't turn into a robot once it's time to deal with you and just have like everything else they dealing with go away.
A mechanic got to.
Well,
you know,
a mechanic has to. Yeah,
a mechanic got to put all that. That's what
everybody needs to when you dealing with people at your job. Like you cannot
but
people like bad attitudes, that other personal shit you got going on when you at work, especially a doctor.
But Smith, what I'm saying is, you can't let a mechanic get away with you need a transmission replacing. You replace your engine. And then now it's your fault. No, you need to fix it and get it together. Exactly. So I mean, cause I keep making that comparison, because I remember my very first day of me going to school for automotive, which I didn't graduate for that. I was in school for automotive, and then he came in here. My teacher came in there. He made everybody laugh. He said, "Everybody raise your hand." He was like, as we raised our hand, he was like, "Okay, now put your hand down if you stupid." We was like, "What?" So I put our hand down. He said, "You guys ever heard of a doctor?" He said, "Yeah." He says, how many different make and models do they have? It was like 2. How many make and models of vehicles you have? He's like, you guys would have been better off being doctors, because you basically be diagnosed and stuff like that. But then when you hear a story like this, you see there's not just 2 vehicles. There's multiple makes and models.
I just want to just keep stressing that every patient is not the same. And we have to keep making them aware of it in everybody's situation. And clearly my family, what just happened to even the other aunts and the other family, and you know, it's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable.
One of the things that I believe, I mean, it's just to piggyback off of what you were saying, we have to become more intentional in our own care. We have to. I mean, I actually, I had surgery from the same doctor. My lung has collapsed 3 times, but I never knew that he didn't give narcotics, and I went through a similar experience, literally. I mean, and I had to. Someone did advocate for me to get meds, you know, but we have to really become more intentional in our own care. Robin has taught me about just that little envelope right there. Any doctor she done been to is in that envelope, you know. And when we leave the doctor, they can give you a printout of what took place. Right. That's your right. That's your right. They can't write stuff down about you and you not know.
Right.
So instead of when you go to the doctor and they have to, oh yeah, well we're gonna send a release. You have to do this. You have to do that to send to these. You know, when you go, you should be able to hand them your paperwork.
Right.
And you do have to stay on top of you because no one else is.
That's right.
No one else is.
I love me. If don't nobody else like me,
We love
you
you.
can hate me, don't care about me. I love me.
We love you too.
That Mobley, thank you. And I'm gonna fight until God tells me it is no longer my time, and I'm gonna keep fighting. So that's all I gotta say. Love you, love yourself.
There
It
you
ain't
go.
being conceited. You don't want to die. If
Right.
you all of these education, educate yourself.
Yeah.
Educate yourself, and if you don't feel something is right and you don't feel right in your body and you sitting there telling the doctors and they not doing about it, then you have to stick out to another doctor. You have to go to, I've talked to many people that had left, you know, their doctors. And believe it or not, there's a lot of doctors that are questioning even being in the field at this point because of the natural methods. Probably do work a little better, but I'm not a doctor, so don't y'all, I'm not even saying that, but I'm
medical
saying.
advice?
Yeah. No, I'm not doing any of that. But I'm just saying, I think some doctors realize at this point they've given patients medications that have caused, you know, because you taking something for your blood pressure. Never had problems with your kidneys. Now you're in stage 2 and 3 and 4 mess with your kidneys, renal failure, or your liver, or you having problems and they're still giving you the medicine because you need to live off of this pill because of such and such, and it's caused all these problems. I just wish that some more people would stand up, doctors or whoever, and say, these are the right things to take. This is not to take. This is killing. Because you remember when they did the whole thing about the blood pressure that was killing the African American people? Remember that? Somebody had to really stand up and probably say something and say, hey, this isn't working too good with the African American. Or even the sugar medicine. What's Coumadin, whatever. So, some of that doesn't work for us as African Americans, and they keep pushing the Coumadin on us. So it takes the doctors, those of you that are watching, fight for us. Help fight for us. We supporting you. We getting insurance to pay the bills.
We need a doctor on this show, man.
Yeah, because we gotta find out the we need to find out the actual criteria that have to be met for them to sign off on stuff. But to me, I find it messed up in America that these so-called dope boys they keep putting in jail for the rest of their life off selling fentanyl can get it faster than somebody sitting in a daggone doctor's office. It's a travesty.
It is, because I remember when I was it the car accident, something I got into, and they was like, I'm about to give you some, I said, fentanyl? Hold up, wait a minute. I said, wait a minute, this something illegal. Y'all can't
I want no fatty whop in my bag. Don't put that fatty on me.
I want you to know, they said they're giving it
Yeah, under a medical.
At the hospital, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, but then on the streets, you know, it's a problem and stuff to have it, but they giving it to you in the hospital.
Man, they handed it to the dope boys, man. Let's be real, man.
I was gonna say, who was the
we don't own no ports, no boats. How are we getting fentanyl, man?
Even all the doctors who were writing all the scripts, who had their hands in the pharmaceutical, had their hands in the pockets of the doctors, who were writing all these scripts for these people that they knew they getting them for the cat, the dog, everybody that they're writing it for. But how many of them are actually locked up? And those that are, what color are they?
None. That one doctor, he went, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
that's why I said.
Well, man, don't ever say that on camera, man. Don't you ever. Man, he probably sitting behind you right now. Hey,
saying, like,
shout out to Skeeter Fly.
They like, well, I mean, that goes for all drugs, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody's cooking this stuff up and putting it into
Yeah,
the
because
community.
I'm a hairstylist, and I worked for a company for 12, 13 years. Now, we focus on diversion. So, you know, and if for y'all don't know what that is when you go to a hair store and you can buy professional products off the shelf that shouldn't be there.
Right.
Now, the company that I work for, they have a way to track that and know who put that on that shelf.
Wow.
Yeah. They can find who they sold to that got that on that shelf.
That is with hair products.
That's what hair products.
It ought to be the same
That's
with
what hair products.
Did you
It ought
hear
to be
that?
the same with
I
these.
you not.
With this, with the
Wow.
meds that people were needing, and then they were
Wow.
over prescribing because they had to meet these needs of the pharmaceutical reps are coming in there, then they're getting these paid off for kickbacks for all these prescriptions that they're writing, but they're over prescribing. And of course,
Man,
it's
they was
paid.
giving them some food. You ever been to the doctor's office? And the
I'm
people
sorry.
bringing out, I mean,
Wait.
oh man.
When you said some food, I'm still thinking street terminology. Like, they giving us some food. Like, they ain't there selling heroin. Damn doctor. They ain't there giving us some. No, I'm sorry.
No, I'm serious.
I'm sorry.
I sold insurance.
I can never be serious. I'm getting canceled, ain't I? Smith?
Yeah.
I sold.
He close to it. Let me alone.
I sold insurance, and one of the ways that we could get it was like disability insurance. Okay. So one of the ways that we would get into the office is, can I talk to office workers? I'll bring lunch.
Right, absolutely.
So I'm bringing in Panera or whatever,
Yeah, just feed
and
them.
so they're listening while they're eating, and some will go, let me holler at you about that, and some would not. But that's how we get their attention. That's the same thing that pharmaceutical companies are doing.
Okay. So now we get somewhere.
So when you go in there, you look around. Next time you go to the doctor's office, look around. What name is on the calendar? What name is on the ink pen you're signing in with?
Right.
What name is
And
on the
that's the
clock?
brand- that's what
Those
they're
are the
gonna push.
pharmaceutical
That's a good
companies
one.
that they're working with. That particular doctor's office is working with.
Damn. And they'll be
And it's right in your face. And it's right in your face.
And
then,
then you hear the commercial that says,
have you or a loved
"This'll
one?
save you."
Yeah.
But then they go,
Then the commercial
Your eyes
keeps
gonna fall out a
going
little
and
bit.
going and going, and it's telling you, but if you want to keep your ear, you want to
you want to have children.
You might have a heart attack.
Right.
You might have kidney failure.
Yeah.
But that's in a whole nother time.
All this for a headache?
How they determine if
For
these
real.
side effects will affect the person that they're giving it to, though? Like, does the doctor know, based on your chart, that if they give you this medicine, then it may cause blindness or it may cause?
Now, I would have to say that even with that, and I'm not a doctor or anything, everything that I'm saying for those that are watching, I'm talking about my experience, what happened to me. I feel like that they just go straight by a book. It says that if you take Phenergan, that only such and such percent will have side effects, but most people don't. But how do you address that other such and such percent that normally has allergies and stuff?
Yeah.
So that's what I was dealing with when I was in the hospital recently, is because of my allergies and stuff. Oh, most people don't have problems with this. And then here you are having me on the hot floor because you gave it to me. So they do studies. I'm pretty sure that they do studies on it. And they give you a percent of how many people, if you read the medication and say such and such percent had vomiting, such and such percent had seizures, such and such died. Things like that. You know, any medication that has any type of death or anything on it, don't talk to me about it. Don't give it to me. I'm not taking the medication, and I don't care what you say.
I want to leave y'all with this before we get out of here, because we talk about these commercials like we know them by heart. Like, it'll be two people out there on the beach throwing the ball, and at the end they give you the long side effects. This is gonna hurt your brain. Think about it. United States and New Zealand is the only two countries in the world that is legal to have drug commercials. I just Googled to make sure.
Really?
The
They
only
took
places
cigarette commercials off
Yes.
the air and out
Yes.
of magazines and all that.
Yes.
But as far as pushing,
only place
And
where
you
you can
see
have
more and
legal
more
drug
of
ads
them.
is in United States and New Zealand. The only place is legal. So if you go to Africa, like, they not allowed to do that. It's against the law.
Wow.
See what I'm saying?
If you go to other places, it's illegal for them to solicit you drugs in an ad
So,
in other
you
countries.
gotta look at the bureaucracy behind all that.
Big business,
Can y'all
big
get some
pharma.
people to come
Big
in on the
pharma.
show and kind of talk from like the medical field, you know, because I really think that things are ran by numbers and dollar signs. Because I even had to say when I was in the hospital, I'm not a guinea pig and I'm not about to be somebody's statistic.
Right.
So how are they running that? Like, is it by, how do the doctors get paid? How does the hospital get paid?
We can
So
put
how
them
do they
behind
do
the
all that
screen
kind of-
if they don't want their name and their
Man,
face.
We can blur his face. We can blur his face and change their voice. So
Change their voice and
So,
all that.
so if you are a medical professional, you like to come in and have a conversation with us, please come in. We offer you a seat and a bottle of water and great conversation.
Anonymity. And anonymity.
Anonymity.
Right.
Yeah, y'all need
So-
y'all really probably need to do that because it could have been, this whole situation could have been really different at a serious note. So
Yeah.
So if y'all can get some doctors to come in and kind of talk about it, cancer, like they're curing all other kind of stuff, and for some reason they can't seem to cure cancer. It just baffles me, and I just think we're losing too many families.
One thing that we do have is a lawyer.
Yes.
Amen.
We got attorney Michael Wright.
There we go.
And he specializes
In malpractice.
and going out and getting those damages and getting rewards for people who go through any type of accident. If you ever injured, especially by some kind of malpractice or whatever it might be, Michael Wright will get in there and get it. And that's just not a commercial, but really Michael Wright is one of my good friends, man. And I know about cases that he has got in there and won and did good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
he's one of the
rectified.
best. Mm-hmm.
So, man,
we all lost a friend who it was a matter of if only they caught it in time. With Jackie Dillard Reynolds, Jackie Dillard Reynolds, JT and him. But hers was an anomaly. It was a very rare cancer, and they saw it, wasn't sure what it was, and didn't pass it on to the next doctor until it was pretty much too late. And by the time
Where did she go? Indiana.
she ended up going to Indiana
That's where, yeah.
to have her radical surgery because none of the surgeons here were qualified. And she was among his last patients before he retired.
I never understood that either. I mean, like for instance,
Send me to the specialist. I'll go to Indiana.
how come we don't have specialists here? I don't see why you need to be care flighted all the way to another state. That sounds to me.
The area specifically for her case, the area of the rarity of it, there were only a few doctors who would even bother to look into it and let alone to do anything about it. I think it was him, Florida or California. Like it was maybe 4 or 5 doctors in the U.S. who ever treated this.
Right.
That's how
She had
serious it is.
urachal. She had urachal cancer. I mean, it was something that is so rare, so very rare that they don't know what to do with it. And I'm glad that they didn't. I mean, after they did do everything else that they did wrong, and they finally sent her to the specialist.
There's so many gaps in the medical field, man. It really is.
But
It really
lung
is.
cancer is not anything to play with. So those of you that are watching and you have any family members that are dealing with lung cancer, nodules, or any type of anything in their lung, I really do advise go for second opinions, third opinions if you have to go to Cleveland Clinic or somewhere and get checked out, because one of the doctors said to me, you do die from lung cancer. Now that's a fact right there. He said if you have, when we was talking about the thyroid, he was like, we can remove the thyroid. He said, but the lung cancer, you will die from lung cancer. I mean, the only thing they did, they have to keep cutting it out, and that's what happened to me. You know, so at one point I was telling Tiff, I said, being that doctor didn't believe or wasn't sure that it was cancer, I prayed that he cut, everything out. Because if he didn't really think it was cancer, so, but yeah, it's no joke.
And they sent her home with no follow-up.
I'm about to ask you, so like, how has the recovery been for you also?
I would have to say that I was in a lot of pain. Like, it's no joke. Like, it's very painful, and then it's painful to breathe. And so I didn't know, because you guys know that I model and stuff. So when I woke up, there was some extra incisions that we didn't have a conversation about that I had to talk to him about. But, I mean, I was cut here. I had like five little different cuts from the robot that assisted him from the back area. And so all that is healing. I have to breathe in this machine to build my lungs back up. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. But, I'm a fighter, so I'm already walking back and forth and, I can't fully work out like I really want to, but I will. I'm not gonna give up. And like they told me, just live. And they said that every 6 months I have to have a CAT scan for 5 years to make sure that it doesn't grow back.
So has your breathing been labored, or is it?
I'm doing a lot better because at first I think when I was talking, I was trying to breathe to have a conversation with everybody and, you know, talk to them, and it hurted to actually breathe and
Get off the phone.
Just get off the phone.
Text me.
Right.
Right.
I'm doing.
Write a letter.
I'm doing better, you know, and then I have my moments where I actually sit down, and I've had moments where I actually cried, you know, because I think about how close that was. But then I think about the mercy of God and how much He loves me. Then I think about my mom and everything, you know. That's a lot to deal with. Like when Smith said, has anybody talked to you? Have they offered you any type of counseling? Because to hear that you have cancer in any type of way, shape, or form, I mean, it's like somebody punching you in. Yes. And then especially to know that you have been fighting to ask them to take something out of you. Yeah. So, but thank you for asking. I'm feeling like a lot better, and it's just gonna take time. They said, but hey, yeah. Definitely. I'm here.
Yeah. That's hard. That's hard.
Yeah.
So Smith, anything for you, brother?
Nah, I mean, of course, I am glad that you're here, and I know that all of us have had similar experiences. If we're not the one that was in a hospital or doctor or hospital or went to a doctor that didn't do right, it might have just been somebody that we knew that was close to us. But I definitely feel like we need to do for ourselves. I think that that's like the main thing that we should all take from this is, like you said, be your own advocate. Make sure that you holding the doctors accountable. But man, for anybody that's younger that's watching this, like, man, we need black doctors.
Yes.
We need doctors that's gonna see us as equal and not just be willing to discard us. Like, you know, we're not worth as much, or you know what I'm saying, our value is a little bit lower. So, I mean, and I think we need that in all walks of life.
Yes.
In all types of businesses and walks of being professionals. We need that. We need black police officers. We need black lawyers. We need black doctors. And we need black politicians and black lawmakers. And we need our own black shit that we can come together and make sure that we doing all right for each other. For sure.
Amen.
I agree.
For sure. But man, we calling all doctors, man. Anybody want to come up, step up, and tell us how to get the most out of our doctor visits, man? Just make sure you get us in the DM or comment on this page. But we want everybody to comment what you think. Share your experiences in the comments below. And let us know what's going on. We're getting ready to close out our show, so I do want to mention our sponsors, which is Shiekhs for Breakfast. Shiekhs Restaurant and Lounge on Salem Avenue. They got the best breakfast in the city. Agnes All Natural Grill. They are downtown. Cattle Corner from the library on 3rd and Wayne. They got a Caribbean type flavor with jerk chicken bowls and chicken cheese steaks and cocoa bread and brown sugar lemonade. They got a great menu down there, you guys. So go to Agnes All Natural Grill, man. They're amazing. We go there all the time. If you're ever injured in a car accident, something that I normally do, I keep a neck brace on me.
Man, here you go. Here you go. I knew it was coming. Everybody's favorite part.
Some people even, they'll be going, just driving down the street a little bit and slam on their brakes. And
man,
rear end,
look.
Slap on that neck brace, go straight to the hospital and call attorney Michael Wright. 222-7477. Make the right choice.
Look. He's trying to do that to me leaving the parking lot one day. So he's serious.
Anybody can do it.
Anybody
and
can
by the
get
way,
it.
Michael Wright never told me to say any of that stuff.
Not at all.
I'm just playing about it. But just saying, if you do get in an accident, call attorney Michael Wright, 937-222-7477. And on this subject, man, with malpractice and doctors doing you wrong, man, make them pay.
Yep.
One way that we can get doctors' attention, when they just do you wrong and disregard you for whatever reason,
hit them where it hurt,
them
baby.
pay so the next ones won't do that.
Yep.
Amen.
Shiekhs for breakfast, Agnes for lunch, Michael Wright when you want to get lit a little bit, man, drink some Kiara Wine. Contact Antoine Cunningham on Facebook to get you some Kiara Wine. I'm trying to get it in Gem City Market. and the shoparea.com. They like the baby Amazon. If you need anything, you're just going to go to Amazon. Check the shoparea.com out first. They have free delivery in 4 days. So from the store to your door in 4. We T-Shirt Kings 247.com. Go for your mouth, Camera King Studios, and Dash Resource. We teach you how to sell stocks and make a big old bag. So tune in every day to P Dash's. His description, his link is in the description to his YouTube page every Sunday at 8 o'clock. And we appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm going to kick it back to Peanut. And then, Robin, we're going to let you close it out with some good old words of wisdom.
Absolutely.
It's on you.
What I hope that we gain from this is the fact that you're not in this all by yourself. Like, the fact is that there is a community assignment now. Everybody keeps saying, I understood the assignment. The new assignment is, okay, the new assignment is for y'all all to glow up and be the person that you want, you know what I'm saying, to help you later on, right? So if you want to be one day where you go there and get adequate care, become that person. Like, I'm not telling y'all all to go be them, but if you ever had that feeling in your heart to go be that, then chase that. Because like I said, you only going to be benefiting yourself, because like we had on the other podcast before, your gift is not about you. Your gift is for others. So I hope, you know what I'm saying, like y'all take that as an assignment, and hopefully some of y'all DM and say, yeah, I'm in school right now, Peanut. I understand the assignment. And if you are, you will get a shout out on my page, right? So shout out to the medical professionals out there, black and brown and every other color like that. So thank you.
Thank you for that. And I just want to say, first of all, God is good.
Absolutely.
All the time. And I have to say that. And I just thank him for saving my life. And he's done it many, many times. And I thank him for giving me age no factor. This is something that now is added on to the Age No Factor campaign. And remember, at the end of the day, it's your body. It's not the doctor's body, insurance body. It's your body. So you have a responsibility to learn your body and take care of yourself and what works and what doesn't work for yourself. And as I always say, trouble doesn't last always. And age is no factor. Oh, and I got these earrings from Unique Boutique.
Hey!
Down at 29 West First Street. Sorry, Smith.
There we
I had
go.
to get that in there. Give a shout out for my daughter. Christmas is coming up, so go check her out. Downtown 29 West First Street.
Absolutely. Legendary People Podcast. Legendary people, legendary stories, baby.
Hey, and before we go, I think we got a new sponsor, Unique Boutique.
Hey,
Unique Boutique. We can talk about that.
All right, y'all, man. Love everybody. See y'all tomorrow. Peace. Who we got tomorrow, bro?
Tomorrow we have Slush God.
Slush God tomorrow. What time?
It gotta be at 6 o'clock because I'm getting tatted tomorrow.